Hello, everyone. It is Emily with Claim Brilliance, the permanent weight loss coach. And I was journaling today about honoring the struggle. And I'm going to read most of this because I wrote it in a way that really resonates with me and really says how I want to say it. And I don't want to, number one, go off and squirrel off because I have a tendency to do that if you haven't noticed. But I really, really want to convey the importance of the struggle. And so I'm just going to basically read what I wrote. And so here goes. We create either our purpose or our prison. I loved that. I was talking with one of my mentees, and we were talking about that. Anyways, I really liked that. And I think it's important to know that you have one of two options. You either create a purpose or you create a prison. And so you get to decide. All right. The struggle is where we are built. Character is built, where we are developed. And so what do we develop? Strength, character, grit, resilience, compassion and kindness towards others, thoughtfulness towards others and ourselves. We develop mastery, and it helps us along the way. Tools. Journaling about the struggle is really, really helpful. If you journal and get it out of your head, then you can actually analyze it and see, like, why am I struggling? What characteristic do I need in order to achieve the thing that I'm trying to achieve? All right. Scriptures and biographies are centered around the struggle. Why? Because it is through the struggle that great things come about. That's where true change happens. That character is built. So why do we get so upset when people are rude or situations arise? Because we want to resist it, right? Anyways, and I think a lot of the problem comes because we are surprised when the struggle comes. We're surprised when running a race that we hit a wall, that we develop leg cramps, that our toenails fall off. I've only ran one race, by the way. It was a half marathon and one and done. That was my experience, because I like doing races, 5Ks and even 10Ks, and Tough Mudder is one of my favorite. I've done that one twice, and that one's almost a half marathon. Anyways, see, squirrel. But we sometimes are surprised by the struggle that comes about when we want to achieve something. But here's the thing, is they are meant to build us. They are meant to bring about the attributes and lessons we need and want to develop. If we resist, bemoan, hate the struggle, then we resist the lessons, the real effort of life that brings you abundance, joy, depth, mastery. We resist what it requires of us to become the kind of person that gets to have the thing. We resist the mindset. We resist the emotions. We resist the journey. All right, let's see. When we don't, let's see. When we don't have to give effort and things are easy, the outcome is that maybe I shouldn't read this. When we don't give the effort. Okay, sorry. So I'll go into that too. Okay. So when we don't want to go through the struggle, then we don't get to have the thing that we want to have, because it's about developing us. And I've just read all of that. But I wanted to also talk a little bit about the lessons that I've learned. Now, I'm not going to go into the stories of them, but things that I have struggled with. Number one is reading. Because of my dyslexia that I deal with, as well as squirreling, ADD, those are some struggles, right? Those are some struggles. And the pain was that I couldn't read till I was 16, right? I couldn't read till I was 16. And so I had to develop skills. I had to practice. I had to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. But the problem is we don't like being uncomfortable. We resist being uncomfortable. We think that it is the discomfort. Our hope is that we don't have to fight and we don't have to face the struggle, but that's not the hero's journey. That's not the hero's journey. I'll get into that in a minute. So let me go back to my personal struggles that I have dealt with throughout my life. Reading, weight, being bullied, relationships, family relationships, kids, marriage, parents, siblings, name it. Depression, low self-worth. I've talked about this before, but when I was 16, I was so low that I tried to take my life. That's how low my self-worth was. Money and time management, relationship with God, dyslexia, ADD, mindset, stinking thinking, fear of the future was a huge trial for me. I did not want to live in the future. I didn't want to live right now. Part of the reason why I tried to take my life. I didn't have hope. I was scared. I didn't think that I was worthy. There's so many things. There were so many things that I had dealt with that required me to step out of my comfort zones, to step into learning the lessons, developing the skill, and shifting the mindset. So permanent weight loss is a mindset. It's not a diet. That's one thing that I'm just like, you guys, it's not about the program. It's not about the workout. Now, they are foundational and they are required, but so many times we look at, okay, I'm going to use David and Goliath, okay? The Israelites needed to conquer another what's the word? People. Let's just say another people, okay? But the Israelites, the other people, they had this giant whose name was Goliath. And none of the Israelites wanted to fight him because they were like, he's too big. We can't conquer him. He's too big. So David came along. He was going about his work and he needed to do kind of a DoorDash. He went to feed these warriors that were supposed to conquer Goliath. Well, he came to their camp to feed them, to deliver their Uber Eats, and Goliath came out and he's coaxing. Who's going to fight me? Who's going to come about me? And David is sitting there like, why is nobody facing him? What is the issue here? And they told him, like, he's giant. We can't face him. He's too big. And David heard the reward, which was you get to marry the princess, you get the kingdom, all of the taxes that your family owes will be paid off, you'll be straight and you'll be rich and you'll be all these things. So the reward is important. The reward, he was like, wait, what? I get what? What's the reward? What do I receive if I do that thing? And that's important. We want the reward. We want the outcome, right? And so he heard that, and then he looked at him, and instead of saying, oh, he is really big, I'm not going to go out there, he thought, he's too big to miss. Look at how big he is. He's too big to miss. I'm just going to grab my sling and this rock, and I'm going to sling this rock and hit him because he's too big to miss. So what's your mindset? Are you facing your giants and thinking they're impossible? Or are you going to shift your mindset and say, I can do this? I have tools. There are tools. There are rocks everywhere. Look at any program. Look at anything. And those are some pebbles. Those are some rocks, right? But the slingshot is really important too. And that's it within you. That's the character that's built, that's required. We are required to develop our characteristics. We are required to develop our the characteristics, the habits, the routines. We're required to develop character and to develop into the kind of person that can achieve the thing that you want to achieve. And a lot of it has to do with mindset. A lot of it has to do with mindset. If you look at something and you don't believe it's going to work, and you're just, that's where I was. That's where I was with my weight before I permanently released my weight. I'll do this diet, but I just already know it's going to fail. That is a terrible mindset. So my mindset had to switch and shift. And my mindset had to say, okay, who do I need to become in order to achieve the results I permanently want without losing and gaining the same 50, 100, 20, 10 pounds throughout my life? Because I didn't know who I needed to become in order to achieve the thing that I needed to achieve. But it was through the struggle that enough was enough. And that I was at a point where I was just like, I have to figure this out. Who do I need to become? What actions and attributes and thinking and feeling do I need to become and to achieve and to put in place in order to succeed for the rest of my life? And that is the journey. That is the missing key. It's not the diet. It's not the workout. It's not the people that you're around. All of those are important. All of those are tools that are needed. But it's the characteristic. It's through the resistance that we develop the attribute, the skills, the right thinking, that you finally are able to get the result that you want. So a few examples, past, present, fiction, and real. We have Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Mother Teresa, I wrote them down, George Washington, any Marvel movie, Harry Potter, Wendy Darling and Peter Pan, Charlotte's Web, Ugly Duckling, Jane Eyre, Leonardo da Vinci, current people that I follow, that I love, that are amazing. Lisa Nichols, Brendan Burchard, Ed Mylett, just to name a few. And I've been debating about whether to even mention the name, because I will either be turned off and canceled or revered, because love them or hate them, they have done great things. Just like Harry Potter says in when talking about Voldemort, I think that's how you say his name. he who must not be named. He was great. He did great things. It was just terrible. It was great and terrible. And we can have an opinion. Everybody has an opinion. So don't turn me off when I say these two names. You'll either love me or hate me, but I'm going to go both, okay? So we have Obama, right? And we also have our current president, Trump. Love them or hate them. Approve of them or disapprove of them. Think they are great and amazing or think that they are the devil and Hitler. They did great things in their lives. There you go. Love them or hate them, there's a struggle there, right? They all have the story of a hero's journey, which is an ordinary person sees an issue or experiences an event and has to up-level themselves, has to stand up for what they don't want, has to stand up for what they do want, has to know their purpose and their reason why. And then they have to up-level and they have to get out of their comfort zone and they have to become somebody that gets the reward. So we look at our own struggles. I have family members and as well as mentees that don't want to go through the struggle. They don't want to face the problem. And the thing is with any outcome you desire, it requires you to go through the struggle and to honor the struggle. We are surprised when struggle comes. And that's where the issue lies. We think, oh, if I leave this person, or if I move to this area, or if I do this new thing, that it will be easy. And then we're surprised when we find out that we have to track. We aren't as strong as we thought we were. We aren't as independent as we think we are. We have to rely on other people, and we're not able to do it by ourselves. I tried to lose weight by myself for years. For years, 30 plus years, I tried to lose weight by myself. And then I got wise and I said, my results are not, I'm not achieving the results I desire and I need help. And so I hired myself a coach. I hired myself somebody who knew what they were doing and could help me. So yes, programs are out there. It's a tool. People are out there. It's a tool. Community, gyms, places, people, things, all these things. But the thing that I had to learn was this is who I am now. I could not be who I was and have the outcome I have now. I had to change. And I had to shift my thinking. I had to shift my identity. I had to quantum leap into the person I desired to be in order to achieve the thing that I wanted to achieve. And yes, it was hard. Yes, it took time. Yes, I had to pay for a coach, somebody who knew what they were doing, because I was paying a lot of money for programs and outward, right? There's the external and then there's the internal. And I had been doing external for years and years and years and years and years and getting nowhere, losing the same 100 pounds over and over and over again, right? In my life, I have probably lost 1,000 pounds in total because of all of the programs if I buy that thing, if I do that program, then I will be able to achieve the thing. But it didn't work. It worked and I gained the weight back because I didn't have the mindset I needed to have in order to have the permanent weight loss that I wanted, the permanent health that I wanted. And no, I'm not where I ultimately want to be. I have to up level. And that's the thing, is we think we are going to be done at a certain point. And the thing is we're never actually done. Get used to the struggle. Get used to it, because that is required for your next level. You cannot go into your next level being who you are right now. You cannot. It is required you give up some things. You sacrifice some things in order to get the result that you want. We want instant gratification. We step on the scale and see that we've gained 5 pounds overnight and don't look at what happened. Was it overnight, or have you been eating crappy for a month? Look at your past, because 5 pounds does not happen overnight. And if it does, which it can't, but if it does, what did you eat? Are you retaining water from salt, sugar, processed foods, travel, all of the things, holidays, right? I tell my mentees, be present with your food, meaning if you want the cookie, eat the cookie, enjoy the cookie, be present with the cookie, pay attention to, are you still tasting it? Because after 3 or 4 bites, if you pay attention, you will stop tasting your food if you're present with it. So the first few bites is to get the saliva going, getting the glands going, all of the things that need to happen in order for proper digestion. But after about 4 or 5-ish bites, we actually, the taste starts to dull. And then it's just fueling, because we've triggered the hunger hormone and saying, oh, we need to eat. Okay, and then there's another hormone that is triggered that says, oh, we need to stop. But we get so involved in it emotionally that we just consume. Instead of one cookie, we eat the whole package. Instead of one serving of ice cream, we eat the whole tub. And it's because we're not present that we do that. And so anyways, that's a mindset shift. That's knowledge and skills to know how to recognize true hunger versus thirst, and the signs to know when you're actually full and when to stop. Anyways, but that's a struggle, right? That's the struggle, but it's required. The discomfort is required. The sacrifice is required. And it's also the instant gratification, that the lack of instant gratification when you ran a marathon and then you step on the scale, and instead of it saying that you lost 100 pounds, it says that you gained 4. The instant gratification is a trap. And it's really through the struggle, honoring the struggle, becoming who you need to become and develop into the kind of person you need to become. It requires the struggle. It requires the adversity is required in order to level up. Spider-Man did not become Spider-Man because it was easy. He became Spider-Man because of events that happened and that he became great. Gandhi did not become great from lack of struggle. It was through the struggle, not over or under, but through the struggle, that he learned the lessons to become the person he needed to become in order to change the world. Mother Teresa, the same thing. Okay? All of these people, it's the hero's journey, and it's not despite the struggle and opposition, but it's because of the struggle and opposition that we get tired enough. The pain becomes enough. Martin Luther King went through what he went through. George Washington went through what he went through. Abraham Lincoln went through what he went through. Obama and Trump and all of the people who did great things, whether good or terrible, did great things because of the struggle, because they wanted change. They saw something that they didn't approve of and they changed. Anyways, I feel like I'm kind of being repetitive, but it's really important, you guys. It's important to look at our Goliaths and to be able to say, where are my rocks and what is my sling? What are my tools? Am I looking at the opposition as bigger than me or too big to miss? All right, I know that this is a little bit long, but I think it's important. And I hope that you learn and journal about this. What are your struggles? What are your oppositions? What are you wanting the outcome to be? And what are you resisting? And instead of resisting the resistance, that makes sense, face it head on. How can you not miss? What skills, education, people, community, mindset do you need to have in order to achieve the thing that you want to achieve? Maybe it's showing up on camera. Maybe it's being willing to be seen, being terrible at first. Procrastination. Procrastination happens because we don't want to be seen being terrible at something. But in order for you to be good at something, you have to be terrible at first. A baby doesn't walk overnight. A baby doesn't roll over the first time, doesn't hold its head up for long periods of time by itself. It has to develop the muscles. It has to develop the skill. It has to develop the balance. It has to become aware of what it's lacking and then work really hard to be the kind of person that can roll over, that can hold their head up, that can walk. And we have a natural drive to progress. This is not new. Every living thing, if it is not progressing, it is dying. And hate, when we hate something, we avoid it. And when we avoid something, we don't become it. It dies. You don't use it, you lose it. Right? You don't use it, you lose it. So, I mean, look at school. How much stuff do you remember that was so important, but now you don't use it and it's not relevant, so it falls off? If it's important, then you face it. You develop the skills, the knowledge, the application. You get around the people. You develop community. You hire a coach. All right, this is long enough, so I will let you go, but I also want to put in a plug that I am going to be doing a workshop for next year. I'm super excited about this. I'm providing a workshop for next year so that you have clarity, so that you know the direction you want to go. And that is going to, number one, be awesome. But it is on Thursday. Let me get my calendar. I think it's Thursday the 13th. Well, it's the 13th, whatever day that is. And at 1:30 Pacific time. So if you're Mountain time, that's going to be 2:30. If you're back east, which I don't think I have any followers back east, but I could be wrong. Who knows? But if you want to attend, I will be sending out the link by Friday. And that is, I found my calendar. That is Yes, Thursday the 13th. Oh, I lied. Thursday the 18th. Thursday the 18th at 1:30. All right. And yeah, be looking for that, and I will talk to you later. Bye.